Well, why don't we go to, we can take the board chair's report, and I'll just give a quick report, subject to switching over when we have Representative Welton here to join us. So, you know, my last chair's report, I sort of did a name check, and I just talked about a lot of people I'd been able to run into during the legislative session as a representative of how many people work so hard for kids. Just a quick follow-up, I had two great experiences, a lot of great experiences, but I wanted to echo first Superintendent Dixon. She already said thank you to our staff and Deputy Stallings, especially for a truly Herculean effort. I've been on the board for a couple of years. I was involved in legislation at the Charter School Board. I have never been quite in the belly of the beast like the last 45 days. And to see our staff in action is truly incredible. You saw the number of bills, the number of fiscal notes. A lot's riding on this. You know, when we talk about what it takes, even on a fiscal note, to do what somebody wants to do. It's complicated and it affects kids. So every one of these bills, as we reviewed them as leadership and as you reviewed them as board members, you know, we sort of zeroed in on those that we felt most strongly about and thought were important to us. They're looking at all of them. So I was truly amazed. I just wanted to echo that thanks for being so dedicated. Again, this is behind the scenes stuff. This is not stuff in the headlines typically, but it's got to get done to do the work that we do and make sure the legislature is informed as they do their work. So I wanted to echo that thanks. And for board members for weighing in, we were able to spend a lot of time together up on the Hill. Saw a lot of board members there at hearings, especially as we all pushed for funding in the PEA process, and then as it moved into more of the policy deliberations, a lot of board members weighing in and sharing thoughts. We had a lot of good discussion, debate. We had some 7 a.m. meetings that I appreciate people showing up for. It's a lot. There's a lot on the line, and it was great to work with everybody in doing our part of that process. And again, I won't take too long, but a couple things. Well, yeah, if USDB is available, we've got Representative Welton joining us shortly, but then we'll turn to that. Representative Welton? Okay. All right, we'll turn back to Representative Welton, and we might get into USDB. Let me just share a couple things, and I want to echo Member Davis on a couple of points. I was part of the governor's meeting on alternative education, and the governor made a comment, I think that Member Davis may have shared, that he expected to think a little bit about how our alternative education programs can learn from or be similar to the regular education programs. And he came out of there thinking the opposite. How can our regular education program learn from the work that's being done in alternative ed? And so one of those, I just wanted to share some of the principles. And this, again, I was there with Member Davis, and she shared that sense that this connection is so important. These are a couple things that Valley High at Jordan uses as their touchstones for how they do this connecting. Create a safe, secure, and non-threatening environment for learning, especially those students who are not at grade level, raising student skills to the appropriate grade level, teaching of individuals rather than stereotyped students, knowing students well, building rapport with them and respecting them as individuals, working as a unified staff for the progress and development of individual students. Those are principles that are used to teach kids that have special challenges, but again, they're universal. We can learn a lot. And briefly, I also joined, Member Wood and Member Earl were there with some National Board Certified teachers during the session to thank them for their work. And I'll just read again one, but I think getting in the weeds in this is inspiring. One of the components they have to demonstrate to get National Board certification is differentiation in instruction. We're talking again about connections. The classroom-based portfolio entry requires that candidates gather and analyze information about individual students' strengths and needs and use that information to design and implement instruction to advance student learning and achievement. This connection, this breaking through to the individual is so critical, and I was inspired by both of those meetings. And I'll just share this last part. As I shared with the National Board Certified teachers, the state has one more teacher that kind of came into the profession, many, but during the last legislative session, my daughter had her first experience in observing. She's an art education major at BYU, and she had her first observations and then her first classroom experience, developing a lesson plan, teaching it. And it was scary, and she found students that she had to work hard to engage, but within a half hour, she saw her suggestions incorporated into the work that they passed back in, and she came home saying, I'm a teacher. This is my, sorry. No, this is her spot. She loves the arts. She loves teaching. She cracked that first barrier and came home feeling like I can do this, and I'm connecting with those kids. So I just want to thank the teachers out there that are doing this work, and I shared with the national board folks that I appreciate their example. For all the new teachers coming into the system, like my daughter, to look up to people that are going that extra mile, developing those competencies and really excellence in their craft. That hold them up as examples to other teachers. So thank you for all those people out there making a difference. All right, so sorry, there's my board.
We're going to move to